All right, YouTube, this is the discussion time to talk about what is what. KLO, Kukri-like object versus genuine Kukri. Let's talk about these. These are primarily what we tested against each other. And this is like 180, I think. This is about 20 bucks. And to tell you the truth, I want to talk about this from different perspectives. If you purely want a performance piece and you don't want to spend a lot of money, I think this is the better way to go. I think as far as fighting, this is a better tool because it's faster, it's lighter weight, it has knurling on the handle, so it's going to grip better.
And actually, it's an improvement of the old one. It's actually
it's better
rubbery.
than the old Kukri. And you also, if you can have the benefit of adding a false edge to it. So from a fighting perspective, and possibly from a backpacking perspective, this, I think, is the better tool for the money. Now let's talk about this knife. This has been proven in battle. Gurkhas have used these knives. This is the World War II model. And they've used these knives for hundreds of years, from sacrificing water buffalo, not with this particular one, to chopping off heads in combat. I feel that this has its place in the collector and user market. Think of it this way. There's something special about owning a genuine Kukri from Nepal that's hand forged from 5160. That is the same thing that they're carrying to their day-to-day lives. So something special about that. And let me reference something else. It's the same thing to a balisong collector, or a balisong flipper, a butterfly knife. The bench-made balisongs and butterfly knives, and the Microtechs, and the production butterfly knives, the high-production, high-performance balisongs, are hands over heels better than the Filipino handmades. But the Filipino handmades are a lot more special. They have a different look to them, and they work. And that's why people still buy FHM balisongs, because they strike a chord in their heart. It's like, wow, this is the original. So there's something special about this. Now, I said possibly back. You want to go ahead and say something?
Mention. You said this was proven in battle. Mention how this is proven with NOS 4 real quick.
Yes.
Because, I mean, yes, this has, maybe perhaps centuries of use, but we have
NOS 4, if you don't know...
Give a little history.
He's a masked man, wore mask, and he would do destruction tests on knives. Bussies, cold steel, cable, and he would do complete destruction tests. He would chop and baton through steel pipe. He'll chop concrete cinder blocks, and you can tell when a knife is really good and performing very well when he starts laughing. He goes, ha 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 ha, let's continue. And this knife has proven to be just as indestructible as the Bussie. What he means by indestructible, he keeps on tearing away at this knife, not until the edge goes away, but until the knife is in 2, 3, or 4 pieces. That's when he stops. And this knife was just as indestructible as the Bussie. And this and the Bushman got high marks on his website and on YouTube.
Usually he'd have a series of about 10 videos per knife, and the K-bar usually never made it through the 3rd or the 4th video. While the Bushman exceeded all expectations, and the Cold Steel Kukri at least made it through the 10th, maybe even the 11th video.
Yeah.
And the test would progressively get
more
worse.
Aggressive.
Yeah.
Stabbing through sheet metal.
Things that knives are not designed to do.
Yeah, he truly knew the breaking point of all knives. Anyways, back to what I was saying. I said this one possibly for backpacking and camping. I also am willing to say this one's also good for backpacking and camping, although it's a lot heavier, and I'll explain my reasons. If you want a jungle environment, well, no, I'm not going to say that because they're both high carbon steel. This one's just coated. But as cutting brush, I think this one's a little bit better. But if you're going to be chopping heavy woods and you're going to be splitting, I think this knife is going to split a lot more either through batoning or swinging, this one's going to split more kindling and firewood a lot better than this one, just because of its cross section. So you'll be able, this will have more of a wedge shape to push the wood apart, as opposed to this one's thin, and you're going to be more or less cutting through the whole thing the whole way down. So both can make good camp and backpacking tools. Let's move on. This, the Raja cold steel Kukri folding knife, triad lock. I wouldn't buy another folding Kukri that didn't have a triad lock. It's just not, it doesn't make sense. You need a strong lock for a knife that's going to take the abuse that this knife's going to take. It acts as a light machete. It's a true fighting foldal.
About 13-14 ounces of weight.
Yeah, so it's lighter weight than all of these. You can carry this one on you, obviously. And it was able to completely go through a coconut. Which, how many other folding knives can you say can go through a coconut? This will go into skull. I'm not saying that skulls and coconuts are exactly the same, but it's the closest analog I have, and I'm willing to bet that this one will embed itself into the skull. Although in a real fighting situation, you're not going to be making these wide movements on a knife-on-knife encounter. So this is a good knife. It's the only true folding Kukri. It can do the machete walk that a Kukri can do. It can do the fighting walk, and I think it's just awesome.
It has a beautiful grind.
Very beautiful.
Look at the stock. About 4 or 5 millimeters thick, and it goes down to a surprisingly thin edge.
It has an opening plate, so it can be waved out or opened with your thumb.
Nice tip.
Yeah. It thrusts a lot better than this, which, believe it or not, the Kukri is well known for thrusting into the belly and cutting out. So this is an awesome knife. Now, I'm going to talk about this. I am a Bowie man. I love my Kukri, and I'm going to use a nothing fancy term, firepower mobility. The difference between fighting with this and fighting with this is, one, this is faster as a back cut or false edge, but to me the real difference is, as a civilian and not a military officer or a soldier, is that I can conceal carry this on me a lot easier. I can carry this on me, no one would ever know that I have it because of the sheath, and it's thinner profile, it's not as heavy. I can carry this all day, no one will ever notice. This, I'm not going to stick the knife back in the sheath because I'm going to wash it off first, then lube it. But the sheath is so thick that you can't really conceal it unless you get a custom sheath made. And also,
actually, the brass end is kind of hazardous.
Yeah. And also, it's cold, so it's probably going to be poking out of your shoulder a little bit. So, I'm going to say, as far as a soldier's knife, someone who's in the military, one of these will serve you a lot better. I'm not going to say better than a Bowie, because a Bowie is good, but you have the ability to carry these. As a civilian, a fighting Bowie, which is very lightweight, but yet very powerful, it pierces like a dagger, and obviously it can chop almost as good as a Kukri, not quite, but you can carry it, and it's very easy to carry, and that's why I think this type of knife is better for a civilian, for self-defense. And but to tell you the truth,
yeah, oddly enough, I was just about the same thing. What is true about this is also true about this.
This performed just as well as this. The only, well, the reach
is actually not too different.
Yeah.
Let's see. I want to move for a second. Okay.
You have more cutting length with the Bowie, but the reach is just about the same.
Although, through our sparring, that inch reach actually does make a whole lot of difference.
It does make a lot of difference. And also you have a guard with this one. So, you know, civilian life, military life. That's the difference. And like I said, let's go over the price range. This is about 20, 180, 190.
Can't get that anymore.
Yeah, the only way to get this is on a secondary market or to get a custom made. And this, how much is this?
Anywhere from 80 to 110.
Okay, so I'm not saying that any of these knives are better than Watson the other knife, but I wanted to make a comparison so you can kind of get thinking of what you want. So that's it. I'm a Soxy 5 and my brother Chemo Kid 1SS filming, Matthew. And I hope you have a great day, and I'm out.